Hello again. Welcome to another episode of Leading from Alignment with our good friend, coach, mentor, John Opalewski. John, you look good in this new year. How you feeling?
Hey, I'm feeling great.
You
It
didn't put on
is
any weight at all over the holidays. How is that even possible?
well, well, I think you need new glasses, brother. Uh,
It's all in how you
it,
frame the shot. You just got to frame the
yes,
shot really, really.
it
I have
really
hair if I do
is.
this, and only one chin if I do this. So it's all in the framing and the lighting.
Yeah, it's good. Happy New Year, Jim, and I'm excited for another year of podcasting with you.
Yeah.
We are this is year seven,
Yeah.
that we're
Wow.
starting. Man, it just floors me that we've been doing this
Yeah.
long. And so I'd like to start out the new year by laying out a big challenge
Right on.
to ourselves and our listeners and watchers. And I want to start with this question, Jim.
Yeah.
What if the biggest barrier to our personal growth isn't strategy or our resources or our talent,
Yeah.
but rather the space between our ears?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's my it's my perspective that if I could distill the largest problem that pastors have into one single item, it would be the space between
Yes.
their ears.
Yeah.
And so we're going to dive in today into how some of the most effective leaders figure out that space in between
Yes.
their ears.
Yeah.
They
Good.
they live with this thought, Jim, that there's always room to grow.
Yeah.
So, what I'd like to do in our first episode of 2026 is unpack together what a personal growth, we're not
Mm.
talking about church growth today,
Right. Right.
what a personal growth mindset really means and why it separates great leaders from the rest, and how embracing it can transform your life as a leader, your family's life by extension,
Yeah.
and by further extension, the organization you lead. So, Jim, just some initial thoughts on the topic.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. I came across somebody recently and they were in their 80s and they were learning something. Now, this may sound naive. I just turned 60. I thought by the time you're in your 80s, you're kind of done with new things. You're kind of done with, you're kind of sitting on the front porch and petting the dog and going to see the grandkids or the great grandkids. And the conversation was beautiful. Like, I'm just learning this. I'm just figuring this out. Like, well, why are you doing this? I'm interested in it. I'm a
Mm.
lifelong learner. That was the phrase. I'm a lifelong learner. And what was interesting is there was really no place for him to apply what he was learning. He was just curious about it. And
Yes.
he spent 2 days learning about a topic that he'll never use because it fascinated him. And he wanted to exercise his interest. And I thought that was, I don't know, maybe it shouldn't surprise me. I'm only 60 years old. I'm still a child, but
Yeah.
I think I hope to be in my 80s and still be learning with that, that curiosity you had in your 20s and 30s and 40s. That's what he
Right.
had. And he's going to live to be 110 because he's got too many things still to figure out. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that though. I admired that.
Yeah. And so the title of the pod today is The Myth of Arriving.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll do it.
and what kind of spurred this on was some reading that I had been doing, and then a conversation with several of our clients around this subject. And one of our dear clients who we love deeply said to me, John, I just want to get to that place where I feel like I've arrived. Like
Mm,
in it
yeah.
wasn't, it
Mm,
was said with the purest of hearts.
sure. Yes. Yeah.
There was no guile there, there was no laziness
Yeah.
there, but it was this idea that there is this plateau that I get to, and that I don't have to deal with stress anymore. I
Yeah.
don't have to deal with problems anymore.
Right.
And that's what kind of spurred me on to this
Yeah.
uh, today.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to do
Mm,
is look at six characteristics of a personal growth mindset,
yep.
and I'll just share one at a time, give you an opportunity to to reply, give some feedback to it. But here's the first one. A growth mindset takes on challenges.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing a challenge as something to run from, a personal growth mindset embraces struggle. And it's so anti-flesh, my
Yeah.
flesh, right,
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
Uh, but somebody who is determined to grow as an individual embraces struggle as something that can force growth
Mhm.
in their life. Jim, discomfort is where growth happens.
Yep. Yeah.
It's it's true in weightlifting.
Yeah. As I say, I hate that that's true, but I believe that it is true. I'm thinking with you
Yeah.
several ways. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's true in weightlifting and it's true in our personal life.
Yeah.
You know, if we never attempt something that stretches us, we get
Yeah.
stuck. And when we're stuck over a long period of time, we end up failing to thrive
Right.
anymore. So, what do you think about this first idea, Jim, of a personal growth mindset taking on
Yeah.
challenges?
I think most of the things that are going to make us grow are going to be counterintuitive. Our go with the flow, our desire to arrive, our someday when I retire mindset is, I mean, ask anybody. That's when you stop living, you do start dying. There is a choice you make at some point. When you stop producing, you start regressing. When you
Hmm.
stop learning, you start losing what you've already learned. They're in our body, our soul, and our spirit are programmed to continue to climb mountains, forge new paths. And the day that we stop doing that, we really do surrender um, a meaning to our life.
Right.
That is, I think it's critical that we hold on to.
So Pastor, uh, I think the message here in this first one is resisting the temptation to coast.
Yes. Yeah.
To
Can I can I
coast,
can I put in there too? I think the older I get, the more coasting looks attractive. Coasting was not attractive in my 20s or 30s,
yes.
but now I'm in my 60s, and it's almost like that thought of I have more to risk and less time to fix it if I mess it up is a temptation to, it's just it's a logical argument that leads me down a path of meaninglessness, but it's
Right.
logical. It's
Yeah.
there's a certain logic to insanity, or being wrong. There's a way that seems right to a man. God is love, love is blind, therefore Stevie Wonder is God. Like how did I get here? It's like, well, logically, one step
Yeah.
at a time you got here. But I think again what you're saying is counterintuitive, but that's why it's good. That's why it's vital.
Yeah. Yeah, my friend Chip Judd puts it this way. He said, coasting is good for a while.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you should coast every week,
Yeah. Yeah.
Sabbath,
Sabbath. Yeah.
right? That's you're resting. So if coasting has to do with replenishment, refueling, that type of thing, yes.
Yeah.
But God never designed us to coast every day of our life,
Right.
to settle for, I guess this is as good as it gets. There's nothing new for me to learn. There's nothing new, no mountain for me to try to climb.
Yeah.
And so yes, that would be the first one. Here's the second one. A personal growth mindset. We want you to grow. Here's why we're
Yeah.
talking about this. We want you to grow this year.
Yeah.
And a personal growth mindset actively asks for feedback.
Right.
And I want to spend a little extra time on this one, Jim,
Yeah.
because the Bible tells us in the multitude of counselors, there is wisdom.
Yeah.
You know, feedback can be encouraging at times, and it can be painful
Sure.
at times. It opens our eyes to behaviors or emotions that we can't see because we're in the forest of
Yeah.
our work sometimes. At times, we're surrounded by the attached stress of that work.
Yeah.
We all need feedback when we're doing something well. I think it inspires us to do more of what we do well.
Yeah.
Um, but we also need feedback when we're doing something not so well so we can make the proper adjustments. I'll give you just a personal example. I had put together a video and sent it off to our team. because it was a video announcing a new launch of something we're going to do in this year, and
Yeah.
we sent it over to the team, and they looked at it. They came back and they said, "You,
Yeah.
that's just not good enough,"
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And oh, I thought, oh, I put a lot of work into that, but it was
Yeah.
just like, no, that's not ready for prime time.
Yeah.
And so my response to them is, okay, we'll go back to the drawing board
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
And um, so every successful athlete, businessman, you name the profession, has several people speaking into their world, into their personal life, as well as their professional life. And for
Yeah.
me, that means continuing to meet with a coach and spending time with friends who aren't afraid to tell me the truth. They love me enough to point out things that either in my thinking is
Yeah.
skewed or in my attitude needs adjusting. Um, and let me just say one more thing, and I'd love to hear your thought on this.
Yeah.
But here's the thing I really want us to understand under this second one is that personal growth is not just for my own benefit.
Mm.
Growth has to do not only with what I take in, but also what I give out.
Yeah.
So some of the feedback I need is who should I disciple
Mm.
in 2026?
Right.
Who should I coach? Who just needs me to come alongside and encourage them?
Yeah.
Because we can get into this personal growth mindset, and it can become absorbed if we're not
Yeah.
careful. The ultimate end is that not only do I grow, but the people that I interact with feel the benefit of that growth, if that makes any sense.
Sure. Yeah.
What do you think about this second point, Jim?
Yeah, I think the one thought I have, John, that might be helpful is be careful who you ask to critique your life or your work,
That's
because
very good.
it's
Yep.
my family is my wife Dina and my oldest son and my youngest son. That's my family. And if I were to ask the same question to all three of them, my younger son JD is a wonderful, he's an I on the disc assessment. He's the life of the party. If I were to say to him, hey JD, does this shirt make me look fat? Well, if it made me look fat or not, I'd say, no, Dad, you look great. Now, my older
Uh-huh.
son, hey, Josh, does this shirt make me look fat? He'd say, no, no, it's not the shirt's fault at all. It's the fat underneath the shirt that makes you look fat. And then I go to Dina and I say, hey, does this shirt make me look fat? And Dina will give you an honest answer. It's loving, it's kind, but
Mhm.
it's truthful. So if I were to ask somebody that sort of question, I would go to Dina. But there's other questions I would go to Josh for. Other questions I go to JD for. Other questions I
Sure.
would go to you for, because I think choosing the person that you're allowing into that role is very important. So don't ask the
That's a
angriest person you know. Don't ask the nicest
that's a
person you
great point.
know. Someone who
Yeah.
loves you enough to tell you the truth, but loves you.
Yes.
It's important. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't ask for feedback while you're on the platform on a Sunday morning from 500 people.
Yeah.
Uh, would you speak into my life? I,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, being wise about who you allow
Yeah.
to that. That's great
Their
wisdom,
words
Jim.
will have influence, regardless. My enemies' words have influence, let
That's
alone
right.
people that love me. So I choose wisely. Choose a wise person that loves you enough to tell you the truth, and you're heading in the right direction.
Right. So if you want to grow in 2026, take on challenges,
Yeah,
actively ask for feedback from the right people.
yeah,
Thirdly, see failure as a learning opportunity.
yeah.
Jim, this one's hard for me.
Okay,
It
I'm
is. It's
surprised.
just
I'm
hard.
surprised to hear that.
Yeah, I mean it's not so hard that I haven't risked failure multiple times in my
Yeah,
life, you know.
right, right.
Um, but there is that perfectionistic little piece of my
Yeah,
DNA that can equate something that doesn't go as planned as a reflection on me personally
right, right.
and my abilities and things like that. But here's the truth that leaders with a growth mindset take reasonable risks. They view mistakes
Hmm.
this way as part of the developmental process.
Yes. Yeah.
And Jim, you and I both have learned a lot from our mistakes.
Sure. Yeah.
And primarily because of the associated pain that came from
Yes. Right.
those errors. Somebody said this, this is not my thought, but somebody said this, that failure is success if you learn from it.
Yes.
I'm not sure who said that. What do you think about this third piece of growth
Yeah.
mindset?
I think the thought is we win or we lose, and that's not true. I think the thought is we win or we learn. And if you
Hmm.
can process life that way. Someone asked me the other day about wisdom. Where did you get wisdom from? I said, oh, don't ever look at somebody like, oh, they read a book and they're wise. They might be smart because they read a book, but they're wise because of the scars of failure
Mhm.
that are on their life. They learn not to put their hand on the stove because they
Right.
did it once. You say, "You put your hand on the stove? What a dummy!" It's like, well, that's where wise people come from, is doing dumb things first, learning from them, and then telling you, "Hey, don't put your hand on a stove." That's what
Yes.
wisdom looks like. So yeah, I no one likes to fail, but I think if you look at life like a quarter flip, heads or tails, I won or I lost, you're looking at it poorly. I think you look at it maybe more like a 75-year, 85-year baseball game, where every once in a while you get up to bat. And if you get a home run this time up to bat, that has no bearing on your next up at bat. If you struck out last time, that has no bearing on your at bat this time. Every time you're up to the plate, every time you make a decision, take a risk, you strike out, you get a home run, you get a single. It's not a game, but we think of it like it's the war. It's not. A war is made of thousands of battles. Your life is made of thousands of battles, and you're going to win some, you're going to lose some.
Right.
But the war is more important than each individual battle. Can you imagine a general that lost a battle and quit?
Mm.
That's not the way it works. You learn, you innovate, you adapt, you
Right.
overcome, because it's important that you win. So I would encourage, like you're saying, like if you lose, that may be an expensive lesson or a painful lesson, but it's a lesson. And learn
Right.
it well. You never have to learn it again.
Amen to that. So here's the fourth
Yeah.
characteristic of a personal growth mindset, and that is it possesses a thirst for knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, there it
I mean,
is.
Jim, I was reading encyclopedias at age, how old was I? 7.
Wow.
And you may ask why. You know,
Yeah.
why in the world would you do that? Because I wanted to understand how things worked
Yeah.
at age 7.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
and that thirst hasn't left me.
Yeah.
I'm always reading a book in addition to my daily Bible reading and
Yeah.
study because it keeps me fresh.
Yeah.
I'm hearing an outside voice, and that voice is generally speaking in the form of a book, and
Yeah.
it's causing me to learn new things, and maybe even learn things that are things I already knew, but I see it in a deeper way now or from a different angle.
Yeah.
Um, I like to, some people like to read a book a week. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going. I'm not going to
Yeah.
do that.
Right.
I probably more in a book every 2 months
Yeah.
type of framework because I like to go deep in a book and absorb
Mm,
what I can from it so that I
right.
can apply the most important nuggets I've unearthed there. And so
Yeah.
leaders, I would just ask you this, do you have a thirst to learn?
Yeah.
See, if we think we've arrived, which no one does on this side of heaven,
Mhm.
we won't see the need to learn new things.
Yeah.
And the day we think we've reached the mountaintop and there are no other learning hills to
Mm,
climb is the day we stop growing.
yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
think about this fourth one, Jim?
Yeah. I, I think for the sake of time, I'm just going to say that I agree. And with this one caveat, I did not do well in school, and I didn't
Mm,
enjoy school. Part of it was because I was learning things that I felt had no application.
understood.
Tests that I gave no value to a grade on a test. But that's not life, that's school. So that the thought of the person goes, well, I'm not a reader. Well, then listen to a book, listen to a podcast, listen to a
There you
sermon
go.
series. I'm no C.S. Lewis. Well, nobody is, but listen to C.S. Lewis. He has something to say to you. After all these years, he's still a brilliant theologian, or whoever rings your bell. But I think more important than what I'm getting out of this is the exercise of doing it. And again, we have to have something to say when we speak. We have to have something in us when we lead. And the greater that is, the greater capacity you have to be generous with those things. And
Right.
I find some of my greatest rewards in life were from something I learned, something I heard. We're quoting people, other people's work, other people's books, but when it comes out of us, it applies to an individual. I don't know. That might be a common moment for us, but it's an extraordinary moment for the person that finally has an answer to their question. And we could all name those moments where somebody said something that was so simple, one sentence, but unlocked something that had us, in
Yeah,
prison for a long time. So
that's
yeah, keep
right.
learning, keep growing.
Yes. Number five, celebrate wins.
Yeah,
And that might seem a little weird. Like, how does that help me grow?
yeah,
And I'll confess, I need to get better at with this one.
yeah,
So, man, this is kind of like therapeutic session for me, I guess. Um, you know, I think there are times when we experience a nice win at Converge Coaching, and my default move is to merely check it off the list and move on to the next thing.
sure. Yeah,
Uh, I think a growth mindset understands the power of celebration.
yeah,
So, Pastor, take some time to celebrate with your team when you
yeah,
experience a win. Frozen custard is a nice prize for winning a project or gaining a new client or completing something
yeah,
in the church or seeing, whatever things that you have been shooting for, and you get to that milestone. Take time to pause and thank God, first of
yeah,
all, for the doors He opened
yeah,
and the strength He gave you, and to thank your team
yeah,
for helping you accomplish and achieve that. And that seems so like, well, duh. But I don't know if anybody else is like me, but I forget that
yeah.
too often. What do you think about this fifth one, Jim?
I think God models it, right? Where every day of creation, he stops and says it's good.
Hmm.
And God
Yeah.
saw all that he created and he said it's good. This sounds silly, but I've taught my grandson, who's 2 years old, who likes to mow with me on the zero turn. Back when
Hmm.
my lawn was green and not white, we would mow the grass. And then at the end of it, he said, "Let's go see Gammy. Let's go get a cookie." I stops. We have to stop and look at what we've done. Isn't that nice? Isn't that good? So, and
Hmm.
if whether he's with me or not, I always take a look at what I've just done because there's something in my soul that says that that's the payday for doing it. Not check the box. Okay, what's next? Do the dishes. What's next? Paint the wall. Like stop and look at what you've done and celebrate that moment. So I don't think this is just when you accomplish your PhD. I think this is when you accomplish your yard being mowed,
Yeah,
or flowers being planted. Because our soul, what we celebrate, we want to duplicate, right? We would like to do more of the things that we give true value to and celebrate. So I think this is a key not to accomplishing something. This is the key to being healthy as you accomplish something and
that's really
enjoying it.
good.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah,
That's good. So here's the sixth one, last one.
yeah,
Personal growth mindset regulates its emotions.
yeah,
Here's what I mean by that.
yeah.
It doesn't get too low when a goal is missed, nor
Mm,
too high when a goal is met.
yeah,
Now, that doesn't mean we don't celebrate when we meet a goal. It doesn't mean we don't evaluate when a
yeah,
goal is missed. But a growth mindset is anchored in this truth that our job as a leader is to become the best possible version God has intended us to be on the inside.
yeah,
And then out of that, to plant and water with excellence and faithfulness. And having done that, resting
yeah,
and assured that the outcomes belong to God.
yeah,
And, if I'm having a hard time regulating my emotions, but there could be a variety of things causing that.
yeah,
I mean, it can be internal
yeah.
stuff, it can be
Physical. Yeah,
external
yeah,
pressure that's
yeah,
coming our way. But, and it's kind of funny saying this on the heels of celebration, isn't it? That what I don't think personal growth is that we ride this roller coaster.
mm,
Hey, I've had a good week, and so I'm up here, and I had a bad week, and now I'm down in the dumps, and then I had a good
yeah,
week, and I'm up. No, I'm talking about I
Yeah.
think growth is where we close the gap between the extremes,
Yeah. Yeah.
emotionally speaking. What do you think about this sixth one, Jim? And then I got a couple of last thoughts,
Yeah,
and I'll
you
have you
you
wrap us
taught
up.
me, oh, months ago, you taught me the thought of mourning, but mourning in the presence of God. So that mourning
Yeah,
wasn't the only reality. And I wonder if that thought doesn't apply here as well. Like celebrate, but celebrate in the presence of God so that it's worship and that the loss, the mourning, the whatever it is, but do make sure you do that in the presence of God too. So it doesn't you don't just become sad over one thing that happened. It's hard to get sad in the presence of God, and it's hard to get prideful, maybe is the word I'm looking for, in the presence of God. So your emotions would be regulated by that awareness that he's with you as you celebrate, or he's with you as you're frustrated that it didn't work, but you're not alone. And I think that's where we can get out of control is look at this great
right.
Babylon that I have made for the glory of my name. Or Paul saying, I just a spirit of life. I don't want to live this way
Perfect.
anymore. That I think the presence of God closes those bookends to be far more reasonable, towards our
Right.
our long-term sanity.
And so I think growth, a marker of growth is the regulation.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we're not going to feel highs and lows,
Yeah.
but we don't allow what happens day in and day out to overly influence
Yeah.
that part of our world.
Yeah.
And that's a journey. You're not going to learn that in a week. That's a journey of decades
Yeah.
to grow there. So, pastor and leader, why should you care about this subject today? Well, for lots of reasons, but let me give you one because it's going to shape you into the leader God
Yeah.
intends you to become.
Yeah.
And it's going to shape those closest to you as well.
Yeah.
You see, your personal growth will release a powerful ripple effect for good in
Yeah.
your family, in your staff, in the church or business you serve and lead. So so I have some questions I'd just like to toss over
Yeah.
to our listeners and watchers, and then Jim, I'll have you wrap us up. What
Great.
leader, what might be God be asking you to take on in 2026 that will stretch you? Write it down.
Yeah.
And that's a personal conversation with you and God.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, what do you want me to take on this year? Hey, it part of what God might say in that is, well, before I give you something to do and to stretch you, here's a couple things I want you to let go of.
Yeah. Right. Make the room.
That
Yeah.
might be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Secondly, who are you going to invite into your life to give you loving, honest feedback? I would encourage you to
Yeah.
identify who those safe people might be.
Yeah.
Get them on your calendar.
Yeah.
Um, Here's another one I'd like you to think about. What lessons can you learn from stubbing your toe in 2025?
Yeah.
Journal those and turn
Yeah.
them into new ways of thinking.
It's good.
Um, let's see. Here's another one. Who can you invite into your life that will create more hunger in you for personal growth? Here's what
Mm.
I've observed that people who are growing and developing personally are usually hanging out with people like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They feed off of each other. How are you going to celebrate wins this year? I would encourage you to start jotting down a few ideas.
Yeah.
See, I have to do that because my normal rhythm is not to do that. I have to be intentional. And then one last one, Jim. What new story will you tell yourself this year that will keep you grounded, whether you reach a goal or not?
Yeah.
So I just want to issue that challenge. I'm
Yeah.
issuing it to myself.
Yeah.
I'm issuing it to you because you're my friend,
Yeah.
and to all of those who watch and listen.
Love it. John, again, I think God creates new things so we can assess and set new goals and things. He's the creator of the new year. He's the creator of the new month, the new moon. He's the creator of the new week. That's in scripture. He's the
Mhm.
creator of the new day. He's the creator of the new moment. And I think that God's saying something to you when he gives you something new, like 2026. So I appreciate this because we're all assessing things differently this first week than we would have 2 weeks ago, because we're celebrating the end of the year. Now we're ambitious about this new year, this new beginning. So thanks for your wisdom. And I know I speak for everybody when I say let's make 2026 the best year of our ministry, the best year of our
Mm.
marriage, the best year of our organization that we serve. Let's make it the best, because it's going to happen once, and after that, Lord willing, there's a 2027 that you'll be a
Yeah.
part of, and we want to make the most out of every opportunity for the Lord. So God bless you. Our watchers and listeners, convergecoach.com is waiting for you. If you'd like to have a conversation with John, myself, or one of our really outstanding, extraordinary people on the team, we would love to do that. So click on that, and we will spend a half hour just hanging out, seeing how we can help. And if we can, we will. And if we can't, we'll send you to somebody we think can. So God bless you as you begin this new year and as you continue in 2026 to lead from alignment.